Welcome to another episode of the Talk It To Me podcast with your hosts, Tim Klingman and Phillip Smith. Intro and outro music by Empty Beds, emptybeds.bandcamp.com. We're back at it again with another episode of the Talk It To Me podcast. This is the second time I've had to do this intro because the first time I wasn't recording. As always, I'm joined by Tim Klingman.
Hello.
And Casey Hayes.
Hola, amigos.
It's like we've done this before, except there's less Nazi jokes this time.
See, now you outed yourself.
Yeah, why'd you out it?
Maybe because they did not see that coming.
They didn't see it coming.
Oh, Jew.
It got worse.
It got worse. Okay. We should move on.
That's what everybody should do. Anyway, I'm sorry, that one was bad.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to formally apologize now before the scandal breaks.
You'll lose a producer job.
Before you lose all your sponsorships.
Yeah, 4 years down the road before I lose this job. That was a joke.
You'll lose a producer job.
I mean, you know, you probably shouldn't move on from the Holocaust because that was pretty bad. Okay?
I mean, you see, you just keep digging the hole deeper, man.
You just keep on digging it.
We should move on to the show.
Ah.
Oh, I misunderstood you.
Oh, did you?
Okay, let's
Really?
You know, like 3 years
You
down the
don't
road,
say.
when we lose our sponsorship checks, like, you guys are just gonna love me.
Yeah, we'll be the best of friends at that. No,
Yeah, we'll be swimming in the money by then.
All right, let's move on to our first story. Telltale Games is slowing down and shutting down. Yeah, so for those out there who might not know who Telltale Games is, they make those really boring walking simulators where, like, you QuickTime event everything.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they've all got really good story, but they're not. You don't laud Telltale Games for the gameplay, but the stories are really good. They're basically interactive movies or TV shows because they always come out in episodic format.
Yeah, 5 episodes per season.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
You gotta buy a season pass. The big part about this story that I'm mad about is that they're cutting production on The Walking Dead, the final season, which they've already released one episode, and they're releasing another episode tomorrow. And they will not be doing anything after that. Instead, what they will be focusing on is the Minecraft story mode for Netflix. And that makes me angry because I've already been very invested in the series from its beginning. I love Clementine's story. I think it's a wonderful story. I think she's a very strong and powerful character. But I won't get closure to that, so hooray for me.
Not enough people were interested in it, I guess.
Yeah,
it's
like if their gameplay was better, maybe they would be able to, continue.
I mean, they said they got powerful feedback, but none of that actually translated into sales, and that it just comes down to the same issue that the games industry has in general right now, which I can break down to one bullet point: is greed kills creativity. So that's just my opinion, but
I don't know.
Name one game that has come out for this new console generation that has been creative.
Octopath Traveler.
I have not played it. You tell me it's good. Keep singing its praises. But that's for the new consoles?
That is for Nintendo Switch, yes. That is a brand new game that just came out.
Okay.
I mean, I will say there's things that are like the opposite, where Destiny and Destiny 2 got a bunch of players and people enjoyed it, even though it was literally everybody complained about it.
Yeah.
even the players. So I mean, that's kind of the opposite effect.
Mhm. And then not to mention all the Fortnite clones, or I'm sorry, PUBG clones, all the
Yeah.
Battle Royale games that have come out. And
I
then
think
not to mention the Battlefront EA scandal.
yeah,
Like the thing is, we're in an interesting time in the game industry right now, where there's a lot of people who want creative and fun storytelling, but there's also less time in a day for those kind of people that generally grew up on those kind of games to play video games. Like that's just the
Yeah.
way it is. People our age, we work a lot. I work 6 days a week.
Yeah.
So like I get to play maybe like 3 hours of video games a week.
Yeah.
And
I guess.
that time itself competes for, so if I'm looking for interesting single player things, that's very hard for me to get into that.
yeah, that is falling very, very quick in just like people aren't making them.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen like a resurgence of people who, want those sort of games. People are definitely more vocal about it lately, but that hasn't actually translated into what those people buy. They say they want more of those kinds of games, but they don't actually go out and purchase those kinds of games. I guess because they expect better games than what's out right now. But if the games industry keeps seeing the profits for the games that are not that original or not that story based, then they're going to keep making those games because they want to see those profits still. So, that the games industry is always going to take the safer bet. That's why a lot of like really up and coming companies or like developers and stuff like that who are putting out some unique stuff always went belly up. Is because the producers that put out those developers' games always went with the safer bet, which was what was more popular.
I get you on that point, but I also think that right now there is it's a very good time to be a Nintendo Switch owner because there are so many Switch games that are out right now that are just like, if you're that kind of single player, good story person, there are so many. Last week I said the Nintendo Switch is the best console for RPG players right now. And that is for a very big important reason. There is tons of content out there for people who like those kind of games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a Nintendo Switch, so I assume, like I said, that'll probably be my next big purchase when I have the money for it. And then I'll definitely be able to see what you're talking about. But definitely for like the PlayStation and the Xbox, there's not that kind of like market going on for those
Well, I
kind of
mean,
games.
we did just get Spider-Man on the PS4, and that one did really well for a single player.
Yeah,
I hear that's doing really well.
which is another good sign, but that's Insomniac. Insomniac's a studio that makes video games.
Yeah.
Okay, like, for real, I'm gonna get back on this again, because I had somebody mention this, one of my coworkers that saw the podcast mentioned this about the Insomniac thing. I think Insomniac is one of the most interesting studios in the fact that, like, they're a very praised studio despite the fact that half of their games are not good.
I haven't played too many Insomniac games. What else have they made?
Resistance, I believe? Yeah, Fall of Man, which is not a very good game in my opinion. They did they did the
never played
Spyro
it.
the Dragon series. They did the
Oh,
the
okay.
first 3 games, which
They've been around
are
that
good games.
long.
Yeah, Insomniac is, yeah. For the most part, they mostly only work with Sony, but they have done stuff like Resistance that have been on other consoles. But for the most part, like, half of their games are not very good.
Yeah, I never played. So here's a fun fact about Casey. He's never played Spyro.
You've
What?
never played Spyro.
I have
How?
never played Spyro. We just never had it.
All right,
Didn't-
well,
I always
I'm-
played the games that my brothers bought, and I guess it didn't interest my brothers, so I never played it.
buy the remake when it comes. Is it already out?
It comes out in October now, I think. I'm
Buy
not
that.
sure because they delayed it. We
Oh,
covered this on an episode.
Yeah, but buy that, Casey. Buy that.
Okay, yeah, I'll get right on that.
Like, that's coming out for Xbox, so you don't have an
Yeah.
excuse not to experience Spyro like everybody else who had a childhood, Casey.
I did have a childhood. It was just filled with like fighting games.
It was filled with Twisted Metal and Mountain Dew.
The only Twisted Metal we
And
ever had was
furries.
black. Oh yeah, plenty of furries. You got that one right.
That's right. Don't get your hand caught in the furry pot.
I forgot that.
That's a throwback from last week. So if you didn't watch last week's episode and you watch this episode now, you are obligated to watch last week's episode.
Yeah, you're missing out on quality content.
Quality.
That's right. Some OC.
That's original.
Original content.
Yeah, we said quality. It'd be QC.
Listen, this
Make
is
a Q. Make a Q with one hand, Phillip.
it's CC.
Does that look like a Q? This hurts my hand. Tell me if it looks like a Q.
I mean, I think you get to punch everybody who watches this video in the arm now, so that's good. What are you doing, Tim?
I can't even do what you just did. How did you?
It's magic.
I give up.
Because I'm all about
he
that
pulled his
respect.
thumb off.
Magic man, Tim.
Oh yeah, but it's a bad time for video games.
Yeah, it is. Not to mention Steam's a dumping ground of garbage right now.
I love Steam because I have so many games I haven't even ever played.
Steam is great. Steam has tons of games. Steam also has heaps of garbage because even though people like Jim Sterling from the Jimquisition and many other prominent figures in the Steam community and the games commentary community has made it clear to them that they have no sense of curating what is literally just effortless asset swaps or asset flip games. So that it's just a oversaturated market with just garbage, no quality, no games.
Okay, like
I mean, like Phillip, you've probably played the games that you like and that you looked for. Really search the bottom of the barrel. I mean, really go on Steam and look at the bottom of the barrel, and you will be very unpleasantly surprised.
it's one of those things to where like, yeah, that's a problem on Steam, but it's also
Yes.
it's also one of those things where it's a problem on any site where somebody can submit, anything that's created.
Yes.
There's
and
there's tons of really bad, like no effort music put onto Spotify.
I mean, yes, that is completely
And almost
true.
all
but
of
that
it is
does
by
not
pop artists, but-
excuse Steam from having that problem because Valve just doesn't want to take care of the problem. So
I mean, they're trying to be an open place for people to submit their content and sell it. And some of it is not very good and is very low effort, but you can usually tell that stuff just by looking at it.
yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not saying, it's hard for gamers to find good content on Steam. That's not the problem. I'm saying there are tons of very toxic, awful people creating garbage and asking for money for it. And then when people say this is a shameless asset flip, they flip out and try to get those people sued, or they try to get those people, kicked off Steam, or like just, not to throw to another show, but go ahead and watch everything that Jim Sterling puts out about Steam.
Yeah, there's tons of really bad stuff that like is on there.
I haven't
I gotta pop my back.
I
guys
haven't
keep
looked
talking.
at Steam in way too long for me to have any say on that.
Honestly, like it's gotten better.
It's gotten better
Steam
than
is-
what it was.
than it was 2 years ago, 2016. Steam
Okay.
Steam was a dumpster fire.
Yes, it was.
Like Valve has made efforts to make Steam not suck as much.
But to be fair, I haven't kept up too much. I think the last time I played one of my Steam games was like early this year. Actually, no, not too long ago, actually. But I haven't actually looked through the library since early this year.
Also, one of the cool things Valve started doing, I think, a couple years back, was you can get refunds on Steam games like real easy. Like, Tim, your phone's ringing.
Yep, that's my home phone.
Tim has a home phone, everybody.
Kill it.
The number is 775-575-6669.
I would be impressed if you actually guessed my home phone number.
Was I close?
No, nowhere near.
Ah, darn it. Anyway, let's just move on. Let's
Please.
move on to our next story.
I-
The PlayStation
I get mad.
the PlayStation 1 Classic. Sony announced that they don't have a big list of games going on for it yet, but I was a big PlayStation 1 kid when I was younger. Like, that was the first console I owned. It was the PS1 console, PSONE console, the mini. Like
Yeah, the little
one.
the little like sleeker one that looked like it was more rounded.
Yeah, and you could attach a thing to it, and it would make it portable. But I didn't have that because I was poor.
Yeah, I think we all were.
I never had one of those. I think the first system I ever actually got was an Xbox One. It was when I was older.
You mean
Now, are you saying that's the first system you've ever bought?
No, sorry. Original Xbox. That's
Okay,
right.
okay.
My bad.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Original Xbox.
Again, I was really poor, so I got the PS1 like in 2002.
All right. So what's the first console you ever played?
Me?
Who, me?
Oh.
Both of you. This is a question I'm posing to the group.
Probably one of the original PS1s.
I have a vague memory of being.
Wait, does handheld count or just console?
I'll count handheld.
You
'Cause
know
if
what?
that-
I'm gonna fight you on that. I'll say console.
Okay, well, console PS1, but the handheld, I had a Game Boy long before I ever touched any kind of a system.
My first console I ever played, and this is off a very vague memory, like extremely vague memory of me being like 4. I remember playing Super Mario 64, and I was aware of who Mario was because everybody was aware of who Mario was because
It's
he's
Mario.
yeah.
It's Mario.
So this would have been, I was 4, so this would have been about 1997 or 1998.
So first console that I played was the Sega Genesis. I played the Jungle Book for Sega Genesis.
Hoo-wee.
Ooh-wee. Yeah, no, I don't remember anything about it other than it was the Jungle Book. But the first console I ever got, like one that was like, because the Sega Genesis, they had that for, as long as my memory spans back to. I assume they got it somewhere around my early childhood that I don't remember, but like I said, that was the first console I played. First console I was like there with my brothers to receive was an N64.
Nintendo 64!
Woo!
Yeah. And the first game I played on that was Wave Race. And
I
Wave
think
Race-
I've.
And Wave
I
Race
think
is a
I've-
damn.
So that was like a boat racing game, right?
It was a jet ski
Oh, jet ski.
or wave runner
remember.
or whatever you want to call it.
I remember seeing one recently that's just like a straight up boat racing game. Like, oh man, that brings back
Boat
memories.
Simulator.
Yeah, I just remembered that I used to play all the time on my PC when I was younger. Cabela's 4x4 off-road racing.
That sounds
You
like
s-
the worst game in the world.
It's literally like you just take a car, whatever car, usually a truck, and you just go driving out in different deserts.
That sounds
I don't know how it entertained me.
I'm
absolutely
sorry.
enthralling.
I am so sorry, Casey, for making fun of your favorite games for being boring. Because that sounds...
They aren't my favorite games. By all means, they're not my favorite games. Like, I like them, and I'm pissed that I won't get closure, but they're not my favorite. My favorite is Mass Effect.
See, my favorite used to be Dragon Age.
Dragon Age 1 is really good. Inquisitions is pretty good. 2 is like,
Dragon Age 2 is garbage, and Dragon Age Inquisition I didn't like because it was different. And yes, I got mad because it was different, but because they completely changed the gameplay mechanics for a game series that they had already had 2 games in.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought Inquisition was fun.
Inquisition was fun, and I liked the story, and I liked how they updated a lot of the style of it and stuff like that, and made it look a little bit more like, you know, like things that stand out to other dungeon crawl games or whatever you would call Dragon Age.
I never
Other
finished it.
You ever finished Inquisition?
No, because when I was playing it, Jacob was living with us, and he threw a fit a lot about me playing it.
Well,
I was
that
just
game
like, whatever.
That game actually has 2 endings.
Oh.
And I don't mean like branching endings. I mean like it ends once, and then a DLC comes out, and then it ends again.
Ooh.
Because there's the actual ending, which is like, you know, you defeated Corypheus, blah, 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 you're all good to go. You know, the world is saved. And then there's the Trespasser DLC, which actually like brings a lot more closure to the actual game itself. And throws some very crazy twists at you.
Like,
I'm not going to spoil anything.
I'm interested.
Don't you dare spoil it, Philip, I swear to God.
I'm not spoiling anything mainly because
Okay.
I didn't finish Inquisition.
Okay.
So I won like $500 gambling, and I went and used all that money to go buy a PlayStation 4 when I got my PlayStation 4, and I picked up Inquisition as one of my like day one buys. Like my stuff I got for the PS4, I got Inquisition, I got the Uncharted collection and the new Uncharted game, and then I got
and you make fun of me for liking a quick time event movie game. That Uncharted started that shit.
my copy of Uncharted Thieves End is still in cellophane. Like
Oh, wow.
I have not played those games at all.
Oh,
I just
okay.
own them. I got a Need for Speed game because I thought I'd like that, and yeah, that is also I think still in plastic.
Gotcha. That's
Wow.
like that's like for Christmas I asked for Elder Scrolls Online, took it out, went through the god awfully long updates, especially on my internet at my house. That took like 2 days. Played an hour, went, this game is fucking garbage, and then it's been sitting on my shelf ever since. Did you just flip me off, Tim?
No. I played Elder Scrolls Online when it was on the free play weekends.
Mhm.
I went through the horrible intro once. Was like, this is horrible. Tried it again. Skipped the intro. Found myself lost in a cave somewhere, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? So
but did you enjoy it at all?
No.
Okay.
Anyway, let's move back onto our topic. Because, I mean, I could go on for days, because, again, I have hundreds of games on Steam that I bought in collection packages that I have not played that are, like, must-play games.
Sony's basically doing
So,
the
yeah.
Nintendo move of releasing a classic console with digitally loaded games on it.
Yeah,
And it
so...
just brought up a lot of nostalgia, so that's why we started talking about
I know, I get that, but we're also never going to finish this show. Because we could literally go on about this for hours. Anyway,
Should just make a new one called the Nostalgia Podcast.
That's right. Phillip and Casey bitch about things that aren't the same as their childhood for hours while Tim just plays around with whatever he's playing around with on the floor. Tim, stop it.
Yeah, I could bitch for hours.
Stop it. Anyway.
I mean,
so the PS1 Classic, it's going to be pretty much like a PS1 mini thing.
Is it going to actually read discs?
No.
Okay.
So it's just like the Nintendo ones. It comes with preloaded games. It does not play PlayStation 1 discs. It doesn't have a disk drive at all. It has no way to connect to the internet, so you can't download more ROMs onto it or anything. It doesn't come with a power adapter.
How do they expect to get more games on it then?
No, it just comes with 30 games. That's it.
That's it?
And so far they've announced Tekken 3, Ridge Racer, and Final Fantasy 7.
Okay, well, at least Final Fantasy 7's on there.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I think it's a neat idea. I would never buy one new, just like I didn't for the Sega or the Atari one.
Well, wait. I'm gonna get you on the Sega one here, okay? The Sega flashbacks are cool because they actually play Genesis games. You can
Well, no,
actually put a Genesis cartridge into it.
I
I
own
did not know
one,
that.
but I bought it from a yard sale.
Like how soon after it came out?
Probably like a year.
Okay.
The Genesis ones have been out for a while. Like Sega licensed
Yeah.
out that hardware quick. Like they were really the first people to do this. Like,
Mhm.
and they also like made the biggest mistake of having these RF controllers. So like they drop all the time unless you're facing like 3 inches away from the console. So it's better to have a
Oh.
real Genesis controller. But
You poor fools.
but you can use a real Genesis controller. You can go right now to Retro, whatever, the people that make the
Replay.
controllers, and go and grab a controller off their website, a brand new Genesis controller, and it'll work right on it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna buy one, but it's cool to know that I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Alright.
I think it's an awesome idea. Anyway, I bought a NES Classic, and I love the thing, and I think it's cool. I barely have ever got to play it, and the controller's way too short. So I hope Sony doesn't do that with theirs, because I hate the short little dangly garbage controller.
Yeah, we got long ass controllers for Xbox 360 and Xbox One. I wouldn't know about PlayStation. I haven't owned a PlayStation since PlayStation 2. But we have those for a reason. Then we switched to wireless for a reason because we hate messing around with short fucking cords.
Well, see, the thing is they're trying to keep these prices down to the range they want to keep them in, so people, the
Like an
buy it
extra
now
couple
price.
feet of wire is really gonna set you over your overhead. I mean, come on.
I don't know. It's one of those things where everything with this PlayStation Mini seems cheap to me. Like, everything.
Yeah.
Like, the fact they didn't include a power brick, and yes, Tim, I know you could just plug the USB into the TV. It comes with the cord to plug into the TV. I don't care. I want my
Or
power.
any other USB.
Not a Nintendo Switch power thing. That will blow it up because those are not conform to normal USB-C standards. Anyway,
What?
yeah. So that's the thing about Nintendo Switch. If you buy one, don't ever buy a third-party dock. It will destroy your Switch because the Switch does not use standard USB protocol at all.
It's proprietary.
It's all
That's-
proprietary. But it looks
Huh.
like a regular USB-C connector that you'd have for your Samsung. So you plug it in, and then you
then
blow up your
boom!
Switch. Yep.
Interesting.
Nintendo loves ya. But
I'm
yeah,
going to lean out of screen to take a drink from my cup that comes from a restaurant that I will not disclose.
it's Burger King.
Well, you ruined the mystery.
Burger King should sponsor us because we could totally sell flame-broiled Whoppers and shit.
Dude,
And
I buy a
also-
Whopper every time I go in there.
Yeah, seriously, like I literally love going to Burger King.
I will literally walk into every McDonald's drive-through in the country and shit and take a fat dump for Burger King.
You
But
hear
you
that,
have to
Burger
smear
King?
it so it spells Burger King on the drive-through.
Of course. I mean, I'm a slave to my art. Come on.
I
Sponsor us,
mean,
Burger King.
I'll buy from every Burger King I pass ever,
Your
always.
fries are far superior to every other fry or fast food restaurant fry on the planet.
Like,
Even
truth be told, guys, I actually hate Burger King. So,
and we're not getting that
Just call it-
sponsorship now.
damn it, I ruined it. I ruined everything.
You ruined it. You ruined it.
Damn you, Philip.
But-
Look what you did, you little jerk.
What can I say? I just don't like Burger King.
Hey, Philip, you really need to get your shit together, all right?
Like between you and me.
Between you and me, just like Tim, kind of like just take a step out for a second. Phil, you really need to get your shit together.
It's free real estate.
It's free real
Oh.
estate.
That just
Anyway,
happened.
so yeah,
Anyway.
I'm not a fan of the PlayStation 1 Classic. It's not going to be a buy for me.
I mean, how many games are loaded on the Nintendo?
30 as well, I believe.
Okay. Okay.
I mean,
But those
I
are
don't.
constantly replayable, though. Those are old games that you're always like, oh, I'll pop that in and
Okay,
play
here's
it
my
again.
thing. Can you name 30 good PlayStation 1 games?
I can't even name 5.
I I can't. I mean,
I can name a bunch of Nintendo games right off the top of my head.
I can just name Final Fantasy VII as the only. I didn't get to play it, but I've heard it's really good and I want to play it. So that's probably the only reason I would get that.
Like
And then,
legitimately, I get that they're probably gonna do the Sting thing where they're gonna get a good game in there because like they named off Ridge Racer, Tekken 3. Tekken 3 is a classic. That's an arcade classic.
yeah.
I love that game. Ridge Racer, Tekken 3, and Final Fantasy 7. So there's gonna be another stinger in there. Like there's gonna be like, oh, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro or something.
I totally forgot about Crash Bandicoot.
If they did Spyro, they just fail because Spyro literally is getting remade right now.
But there are
Yeah.
people that will want to play the original game no matter
Okay.
what over the remake.
Okay.
But like
Yeah, I got nothing. Even if I started trying to name games, they would probably just end up being PlayStation 2 games.
Nice.
Ratchet and
'Cause
Clank. No, that's PlayStation 2. Damn it.
That's PlayStation 2. Jack and Daxter, PlayStation 2.
Like there's not if they
PlayStation 2 had a glorious third-party support.
okay, here is something they could do. If they got this game, which I don't think they could because they would have to get the music licensing, they would have to get the personal rights and stuff, everything to it. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. 1 and 2. If they got that, oh my god, they might have me sold.
Okay.
Yeah, if it was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, they'd have me sold.
I can see that.
For $100, okay, Final Fantasy 7, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Tekken 3.
Tekken 3.
Yeah, right there.
Sold.
Yeah,
Yeah, sold.
I'm getting 100 hours out of those games because,
Exactly. Especially Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. I would play that all fucking day.
well, especially that Tekken 3. Do you know how long that game is to beat all the way?
Was Vice City PlayStation 2 or 1?
PlayStation 2.
See? That's all I got. It's PlayStation 2 games.
Well,
Like, maybe the first Driver game, which is a good game. Driver 2 is terrible, though, but the first Driver game would probably be a good one.
Actually, I'm going to fight you on that one. I'm going to say Driver 2 is better than Driver 1.
Driver
Because-
2 is the worst.
Okay, the story is stupid and dumb. And it's dumb. And it's stupid. But you got to get out of your car and you got to steal cars. And that was hours of fun for me. Not even doing the story, just running around the city stealing cars.
Driver 2 is an unplayable wreck, like, of a game. Like, if you've played anything, like, Gran
But then again, I
Turismo,
was like 9 or 10 when I played it. So,
I never played those.
you ever played Driver 3, the one that's a hot pile of garbage? Or Driv 3 or however they...
I think the first game I played where it was anything like that was just racing, Need for Speed Underground, and then I played Grand Theft Auto 4 like once, and I was like, I kind of just don't like this.
Yeah. The controls in 4 were sluggish. Like, you felt like you were walking around in molasses.
See, with Sony's relationship with Square, I really hope that, and this is a game that I'm positive they won't do because it is not Final Fantasy levels of big, it's not Chrono Cross levels of big, but to me this game personally is one of my favorite games that ever came out on the PlayStation 1, Parasite Eve, which if you have not played that game, it is so worth a play. It is one of the best RPGs ever to come out on any console ever.
I've never played that game, but you did remind me of Chrono Trigger.
How can you? Aren't there emulators that you could just play these on anyway?
Yes,
those are
Tim.
illegal,
Those are
Tim.
illegal.
Oh, those are illegal.
Shame on you. Emulators are illegal.
We don't do,
I mean,
we don't smoke emulators in this house, Tim.
Not
Well-
even once.
well, okay. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Like
By the way, By the way, for all you emulator players out there, anything above fucking PlayStation 1 is a goddamn pain in the ass to try and get running.
Dolphin for GameCube's easy, I found, but I have a good computer, so.
Yeah. I tried to run like N64 games and they were all just broken as crap.
N64 is a little trouble because of Nintendo's
Cartridge.
garbage, yeah.
Yeah.
But generally, it's not terrible. Like every game that you want to play for the N64 generally runs well.
Did anybody else just install Super Mario Brothers on an emulator on the school computers for computer class?
I didn't go to school.
Which Super Mario?
I want to say it was just Super Mario Bros.
Oh, okay. No, but I should have.
I definitely did.
I
definitely did.
All those wasted years.
My favorite thing when I was younger, though, was there was a website that had like it was a virtualized in Java running NES emulator that had access to every Nintendo game ever.
Oh, that would have been...
Actually, I had a friend like that who had a computer with... He actually had a cracked PlayStation with just every game that he could find for every system put on it, and he would just play it, and he would just boot it up. Even if it was Nintendo, even if it was like another company, he would just boot them up, and they ran no problem. Actually, I say a friend. It was also, I mean a psychotic neighbor, but still.
We all had those friends growing up that, probably killed the neighborhood cats that we just hung out with because they had a Dreamcast.
This guy I think got arrested for threatening his other neighbors with a katana.
With a katana? That's a whole new level.
I've seen him do it.
I was thinking like you were going to say
I'm going to stab you with my katana.
Different. Like I don't know. Fucking
like a gun or something that makes sense,
Yeah,
he had guns, but no, the first thing he went for was the katana.
Hold on.
Okay.
I want to see the neighbor that threatens their neighbors with just a fucking broadsword.
my brother has a broadsword.
He just comes out of the house. He's like,
challenge my honor.
My brother has a Scottish claymore. Made in Pakistan.
Oh, well, okay.
But, Phil, you mentioned Chrono Cross, right?
Yeah.
That's PlayStation 2, right?
That's PlayStation 1. Chrono Cross is PlayStation 1. They released
Chrono
both.
Trigger is PlayStation 1.
They released both.
Cool. I know a game for PlayStation 1 that I've actually beat. And, Tim, I actually use a crap ton of their soundtrack from Chrono Cross for our D&D games.
Oh. Okay.
Chrono Cross is a fantastic game. I highly recommend it. It is very good. Chrono Trigger as well. Play Chrono Trigger. It's a fantastic game. But the one I got introduced first was Chrono Cross, and I think it's freaking amazing.
Casey, full stop. If you love Chrono Trigger, get I Am Setsune. I am not sure if it is on Xbox. I know there's a PS3, a PS4, a Switch, and a Vita version of this game. It is the same combat mechanics, and it is completely like these guys when they made this game, they top down looked at everything. It's for PC too. I Am Setsune is on PC as well.
The Chrono Cross that you guys are talking about is like that?
I Am Setsune?
Because that's one that I was looking at picking up, but I was iffy about it.
But, like, legitimately, the game I Am Setsune is one of my favorite RPGs that has come out in years. It will break your heart. You will be crying by the end of the game. You will cry.
Now that you've guaranteed me it, I better be crying when I finish that game.
Like,
if he doesn't, he's gonna come to your house.
You're gonna text me as soon as you're done with it. You're gonna be like, dude, why'd you go and make me cry my own tears?
Nobody makes me cry my own tears. Nobody.
Let's move on to our last story. As much as I could talk about RPGs all day long, we have Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, which they just showed tests of that. That's out now. Opinions, guys.
I'm sorry, Tim. Go ahead, because I can unload for an hour.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I like the look. The little short clip trailer thing they have going on is very interesting. I am very curious what direction it's going to end up going, but otherwise I am intrigued at this point.
Oh, let me go pop that up for you guys so you can see. Yeah, it's very Caesar Romero-y. Like,
It's a mix between Heath Ledger and Caesar Romero. Like Caesar Romero kind of like wardrobe, but Heath Ledger kind of like face and makeup. He's definitely very creepy, and I love it. I'm sure he can do the part tons more justice than Jared Leto could have.
I think that Jared Leto does an amazing job, and you're
Okay,
wrong,
let's
Casey.
not get back on that conversation for the third time.
I'll come fight you at your house. Like,
Dude, I will fight you too.
all
I
right.
will go get my katana right now, okay?
Okay, if you guys are going to do this neutral ground, come to my house.
Okay.
I want to watch.
I think I have a katana.
I have a very small dagger, if it helps.
No, I need something a little bit more substantial. I could use my Batman sword.
There you go.
I bought it at a 4th of July like tent stand in Bridgeport, California, where they had just a bunch of tents of just people selling shit, and this guy was selling swords, and they had the 300 sword.
So like the four corners, but it was all swords.
Little more than that.
Well, just so you
it's
guys
like-
are aware,
like-
like, Bridgeport, California is like the meth capital of the world. Like,
No. Silver Springs is the meth capital.
have you ever hung around Bridgeport, California?
Almost every year for 4th of July for
It's
most
bad.
of
These people are the hills have eyes.
my life. Yeah.
And then
'Cause
really
basically-
conservative people are like, I hate California. I want to move to Nevada.
Yeah,
Oh.
because like there's a tons of tourists who come in around that time of year, and those are not the people those are the people you interact with on 4th of July. Any other day of the year, you get some pretty hill vibes kind of people.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least it's not like wrong turn levels of bad.
No, it's actually beautiful there. I love Bridgeport. It's one of my favorite places, but the rich side of our family sold the ranch there, so now we can't. I mean, we can go there, but we don't have a nice ranch to stay at anymore.
Damn
sucks.
rich people. Bourgeois!
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
read the Communist Manifesto once.
Yeah.
Okay.
Karl Marx is my bishi.
Karl Marx is my waifu. I have a Karl Marx.
Well, Philip,
Waifu
I want to
porn.
know.
Husband.
I want to know what is your thought on the new Joker look?
I like it. Again, I think that aesthetically my favorite Joker is Caesar Romero.
Yeah, look at that face paint though.
Like, legitimately, that's what this reminds me of. Like, all Joaquin Phoenix needs is like a mustache he covers up with paint to be like spot on for that Joker. Like, in my opinion, like I don't know. So I don't know. I really dig it. So
But yeah,
aesthetically,
no, yes.
Casey, just to test a little bit, do you know the name of Joker's alter ego?
Which one?
Just what's let's go White Knight.
I haven't read too many comics. Are you talking like his real name?
Yeah, his real name.
Jack Napier.
Okay. Yeah. I'm actually following a comic right now where he took pills and actually became sane and is prosecuting Batman.
See, the thing is, I will fight anybody on this for a good 2 hours. Joker's not actually insane. Joker is not actually insane because he is aware of everything that he does. He could defend himself in court if he wanted to. He basically the big thing about Joker ever since like the Killing Joke has always been both Batman and Joker are nihilists. They both think that the world is cruel, unfavorable, random, but their reaction to that belief is different. Batman chooses to impose order on a world that he sees as chaotic and out of control, and Joker becomes a parody of it. He becomes basically the face of the world. It's like if you saw the world in all its chaos and all its ridiculousness all wrapped up into one person.
Well, and Joker basically like loves that Batman's there to fight him all the time.
Because basically the thing about Joker is Joker's big thing is to prove that we are more savage and selfish and cruel than we claim to be. That our sense of morality is just a joke, is just a front we put up and lie to ourselves about. So he's constantly putting people into positions where there is no right or wrong, where the answer to the question is not, what's the right answer? It's, what's going to get me out of this? So he always puts them into those kind of positions. And he always pushes Batman further and further to try and break his code, because Batman's code, his morality, is just another joke. And all he has to do is find the right thing to make Batman prove that for him.
If you're a big fan of the Joker, one of my favorite runs of comics ever was Kevin Smith did a miniseries called Batman Cacophony, and it's really good, and it has a very good. I'm pretty sure it's Cacophony. Yeah, I'm thinking of Weidengeyer was the second series he did. Cacophony was the first. It's a real good series he did with. At the end, there's a good conversation between Batman and Joker that just is fantastic. Like, I don't want to go too far into it, but Kevin Smith.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yes, Kevin Smith is. He's done some of my favorite runs on some characters, and Batman Cacophony is one of them. Like, I wish he was somebody who had time to actually work mainstream in comics, but he's too busy making movies and podcasts and stuff. But yeah, very good. Like,
my two highest recommended Joker series is, well, not even series, just novella, is the one-off Joker book by, I believe it's Brian Azzarello. That's got like a Heath Ledger Joker going on. And then also, I don't know what it's actually called. It's Batman New 52, but I think it's like Death in the Family, or I'm not exactly sure what the actual run of that is called. It's the one where Joker cuts his face off.
That one is crazy.
Yeah, that one's
really
pretty
cool.
freaking nuts.
I think my favorite run, it's a very short series. I want to say it was only like 5 books, and it's basically like Bruce Wayne, everything is not reality, and everything that happens in the comics is inside of a man's head in the in an insane asylum, an actual run-down insane asylum. And he's trapped there. He's basically chained up, and the asylum's shut down. Nobody goes in there anymore. And he created these characters to basically just try and survive.
Yeah. Another good one with Joker in it. Actually, it's got Joker in it, but he's not like the forefront of the character. But a really good one is Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth. The art style in that is insane, and it's really, really dark. It's really super dark. Like, I think Mad Hatter in that is like a pedophile.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's dark as fuck.
Hey.
And then I bought a version of it that has literally like half the book is the comic, and then the other half is the guy who wrote it explaining all the influences and shit that he went through. I'm like, dude, you put way more thought into this book than I thought any other author would.
Speaking of dark, quick bonus story. Batman's penis is in a comic. An official DC Comics comic where they released, I guess there's both like a censored and uncensored version. I want to remember what it was called. It was like DC...
Why were you so excited to tell us this, Tim?
No, because it popped in my head as we were talking about this. So, you know how Marvel has Marvel Max?
I have one question.
It popped in your head. Are you saying that Batman's dick popped in your head?
I have just one question. What's he packing?
Okay, so there's Marvel Max, which is like the dark, and it can be gruesome. There can be nudity and all that kind of stuff. It's called adult
You're not
comic
answering
books.
the question, Tim.
I don't know, like 6 inches. Anyway,
Harder,
I didn't look. I did not look.
Well, Tim,
didn't-
this isn't
Not
good
even doing
reporting.
Anyway.
research.
This is not
Anyway.
good reporting.
Look it up. Google it. Google it right now, Casey. Google Batman's penis.
Do I have to?
Do it, but don't show the camera. Don't show the camera, because I don't want to edit.
Anyway,
I'm not gonna show the movie. What I actually have pulled up was the Brian Azzarello Joker.
but there's
But
DC's basically doing the Marvel Max type thing where they're able to show nudity and it's for adults. So
it's for creepy like 40-year-old guys in their basement that like want to have sex with cartoon characters.
yeah, and everyone's actually like the story I saw on it was people like the internet doesn't know how to feel about the fact that Batman's penis is in the comic.
No,
Are you disappointed, Casey?
very. That's nothing to
You know, the big car, the tank, they just kind of...
Yeah, I assumed he was compensating for something, but now I know what it is.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's a good note to end this week.
I was drinking water.
That's just downright shameful. I'd show the camera, but like it's in shadow, so you could barely even see it.
I don't want to get flagged.
Get flagged for nudity.
Oh no, I'm just kidding. That's back.
Anyway, guys, as always, it's been Phillip Smith here, Tim Klingman, Casey Hayes. We're out. We'll
get there.
We'll talk it to you next week, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.